The case study focuses on the primary business of hiring out tents and chairs. The entrepreneur in this case purchases the tents and chairs and rents them out to those having events of sorts. Although such a business may entail offering related services such as photography and event management, the main focus of the survey is hiring out tents and chairs at a small and affordable rate. The target market for the business is anyone having an event. At the national level, the tents and chair hire business is influenced by a couple of factors. Kenya's economy has been hurt by the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2020, GDP growth was expected to decelerate to 1.4% from 5.4% in 2019. Tents are usually sold based on their capacity and design. Capacity is the number of people that can comfortably fit in the tent, while the design is the outward look of the tent. Common designs include a flat roof, high peak, marquee, dome, pyramid, and clear tents. Prices vary with capacity and design, but also the features of the tent. For instance, the type of canvas used, the strength of the supporting frames, ultraviolet ray protection, and water resistance. Independent manufacturers tend to be cheaper than factory manufacturers. However, some of the independents lack a sort of quality control, thus one may find an unnecessary fold, loose threads, or rough edges in the frames. No matter the source of the tent, prices tend to fall within a certain range. The difference is based on design, competition in the area, negotiation skills, and at times, the time of the year. Plastic chairs are commonly used. There are two types of plastic chairs, with arms and armless. When the tents and chair hire business started picking in Kenya, plastic chairs with arms were mostly used. However, they were found to be bulky, taking a lot of space, and not easy to dress, thus the adoption of armless chairs. Among consumers, the demand for armless chairs is more than for chairs with arms. The hiring price is likewise more for armless chairs. Similarly, prices vary between manufacturers. The price difference can be as high as 200 Kenyan shillings. Since late 2011, Kiaveri chairs have started gaining popularity. They are seen as more stylish, comfortable, and give a superior, exclusive experience. They come in many styles: wood, metal, and fiber with fancy cushions. They cost between 2,500 to 4,500 Kenyan shillings, whereas hiring ranges between 150 to 300 Kenyan shillings. For a budget of as low as 20,000 Kenyan shillings, one can get 2 gazebos, tents made of cloth, green in color with white stripes, that can fit 25 people. For a budget of 70,000 shillings, one can acquire 2 white high-peak party tents made of PVC that can fit 25 people each, or opt for 3 gazebos and 70 white plastic seats. Alternatively, with a budget of 200,000 to 212,000 shillings, one can purchase 2 white high-peak party tents made of PVC that can fit 25 people each at 70,000 shillings, 1 bridal white high-peak tent at 70,000 shillings, 40 white plastic seats at 22,000 shillings, and a set of complete public address system, amplifier, mixer, microphone and 2 speakers, at 50,000 shillings. Other than a trading license issued by local authorities, no special licenses are required to run the business. However, when playing sound in a public space, a NEMA and MCSK license is required. Usually, it's the responsibility of the event organizer to acquire such licenses. The price of the trade license varies from county to county. They range from 3,000 to 10,000 Kenyan shillings. There is severe competition in the tents business. For a start, the barriers to entry in the business have been reducing gradually for the last 6 years. Equipment prices have gone down as a result of other importers of the same items. The relatively low prices have allowed more entrepreneurs to join the business. Demand for higher quality events has increased, driven by lower equipment prices, a recovering economy, and exposure through education shows on television, access to the internet, and travel. The surge in demand has attracted and continues to attract more investors to the business. Capital, as seen above, is not a barrier to. Some entrepreneurs have started the business with as little as 20,000 shillings. Again, there are no special skills or licenses required to run the business. Anyone with basic marketing knowledge and an investing spirit can run with some level of success in this business. Nevertheless, competition is not evenly distributed. Some urban centers are underserved, almost saturated, or headed towards maturity. Maturity, in this case, means that the market is big enough to sustain the existing players profitably, while saturation means that new entrants take longer to break even and older businesses record lower profits. The market is segmented such that there are no players fully dominating. This implies that a new entrant with the right mix of factors, as will be seen below, has more than fair chances of succeeding. Of course, there are a few big players by scale that have made considerable progress in branding as one-stop event companies, yet their share of the market is not big enough to discourage the entry of new players. When it comes to revenue, there are a few scenarios we had discussed earlier. For tents, the average price of hiring out for an event of 50 people is 3,000 shillings and 4,250 shillings for 100 people. For bigger capacity, say 500 people, the price is usually a multiple of the 100 capacity tent. Chairs on the other hand vary from 10 to 20 shillings for plastic chairs and between 150 to 400 for executive chairs. A 6-people table is priced at 200 shillings and 250 shillings for an 8-seater. As mentioned in earlier, there is no standard pricing formula in the tents and chairs business. However, there are what both customers and providers consider market prices. A crude way to calculate the return on investment in a chair is to divide the cost of buying a chair by the price of hiring it out. For instance, a chair costing 600 shillings would take 30 event days, if the chair is being hired out at 20 shillings per day. It's possible to remain fully booked throughout the month. This of course is dependent on several factors. This crude method is to simply give a guideline since other factors may come in place such as price discrimination, labor, transportation costs, inflation, and higher returns on other services being offered by the provider. There is also a depreciation factor. Just like any other asset, the tents and chairs, whether used or not, they will naturally break down as a result of exposure to the environment. The more they stay, the more they lose their shine and eventually their marketability. Many vendors put the lifespan of a chair and tent at between 2 and 4 years, depending on how well they are taken care of, the materials used to make the items and trends. Payment terms varies from one vendor to another, but often take the form of a deposit paid by the customer when booking, and the balance on delivery. Some vendors prefer a 50% deposit on booking and 50% on delivery, while others work with a ratio of 80-20 and so forth. Unless when delivering to reputable organizations, it's prudent to insist on a deposit first. This commits the client and protects against last-minute cancellations. For vendors with small capacity, cancellations are costly because they may have involved turning down another customer, so serve this particular one. Among the reasons that may make a customer to cancel include, they have gotten a better deal, or they want to give the contract to a friend, or in rare cases, an event has been rescheduled. The terms of payment work best for the business if they are friendly and based on mutual trust. Most corporate organizations often pay on delivery. Credit period of a large number of medium and large-sized firms is between 30 and 90 days. Although most organizations will aim to dictate the terms of such a contract, a vendor has room to negotiate a better deal when transport charges vary from vendor to vendor. Relatively big providers with own transport vehicles sometimes deliver free of charge for orders of certain sizes within a defined radius from their premises. Smaller players more often than not charge a transport fee, unless the event is in the immediate neighborhood. The fee is as negotiated with the customer, and tied to distance and the number of items. A common formula of charging for transport is per chair with charges ranging between 7 to 20 shillings. There are customers who organize to transport the chairs and tents from the vendor's premises to the event's venue. This is if they find such an option cheaper as compared to paying the vendor transport charges. A quick note about customers' own transport: in some recent past, there has been several reported cases of vendors who entrusted their items to customers who came with their own transport, only for the said customers to turn out to be conmen who disappear with the items. Thus, in case of doubt, some basic precautions should be taken. Potential customers make decisions first based on friends' suggestions. Secondly, through companies with a presence of sorts, for instance, through board advertising, social media, and websites, or a physically visible accessible display. Thirdly, purchase decisions may be through proactive marketers, who will approach a potential customer on getting the information they are having an event coming up. Customers want assurance that the vendor will deliver, and according to specifications. Good service is about professionalism, relationship management, and excellent customer service. In addition, customers want to be charged fairly, which means a price that equates to the service and is within market rates and their budgets. Generally, customers look for aesthetics, reliability, functionality, good service, and a fair price. Positive reviews are key for growth in the business. Manpower. Depending on the scale and needs of the business, one may have the following. 1. Salespeople. These help in marketing the business. They can either do so remotely through social media marketing or physically look for business from potential clients. A successful business depends on a good sales strategy. The main form of reward is commission, at an average of 20%, the lowest 10%, and the highest 40%. Some businesses have salespeople on salary and commission, which motivates them to be more accountable and committed. 2. Casual staff. These are used to set up the tents and chairs, and cleaning them after an event. This is a low-skill job and any able person can do it. Due to the lifting and climbing that may be required, many vendors prefer to have male workers. Recruitment is mostly done on a need basis and thus no permanent staff is required. Usually, the vendor may elevate one of the casuals to the role of a supervisor to oversee the seamless setup of the equipment. The reward is on a daily wage. The average is 400 Kenyan shillings, the lowest is 200 shillings and the highest is 800 shillings. 3. Other staff. Depending on the size of the operation, one may have a marketing manager supervising salespeople, a receptionist, and a driver. There is no standard pay for this and the reward depends on the scale of operation and the estimated possible returns. I hope that you have enjoyed the insights and information that we have shared. In this last video, we shall share some of the photos and pictures of the tents, tables, chairs and other equipment associated with this business. We have also shared links and additional references should you wish to get more information. I leave you with the wise words of Wayne Huizenga, a prolific American business person, owner of Blockbuster Video and the Miami Dolphin, and I quote, "Some people dream of success, while other people get up every morning and make it happen."